Hi guys, welcome to DOdaily, the third in the series of the Sunday Social. Hopefully you're having a great weekend so far, enjoying the typical bank holiday weather. Got a great guest in store for you today, so sit back, grab a coffee and enjoy a guy who not only talks for a living, is really informative, is inspirational, passes on the message. During lockdown, whilst I've been doing DOdaily, of course, one of the key messages has always been about listening to the right people, taking on board the right information, listening a lot to different people, but finding those who do it in the right manner, who do it with the right intentions. And I feel today's guest does exactly that. Someone I'm keen to learn from, having admired him for a while. He works in local radio, works at Nottingham Forest, my favourite football team. So it's someone I've been aware of and somebody sort of watched on from afar. So when I asked him to be a guest and he agreed to join us today, I was really, really pleased and a little bit daunted. I got the chance to interview the interviewer. So, like I say, grab that coffee, sit back and enjoy my conversation with BBC Radio Nottingham's mid-morning presenter, Mark Dennison. Hi Mark.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm sorry for the delay. I got called into something else that I didn't really want to be called into, but there we are, it's done.
No worries. I really appreciate you joining me, especially straight after the show.
No, it's fine. No problem at all.
I've been listening this morning.
I couldn't tell you what I've been doing. It's all a blur.
No. Like I say, thanks anyway. I just thought I'd invite you on just to see if I could ask you a couple of questions about what you've been doing during the lockdown and things like that. I know you've been up to certain things and it might tie in with some of the things I'm trying to do through running and a new YouTube channel I'm trying to sort of get off the ground. Encouraging activity. I'm trying to work on a 7-day plan and I want it to sort of be kind of a big campaign and really get it off the ground where we're looking at getting people involved in activity but tackling all the perceived barriers along the way. So I'm trying to make it as interactive and as quirky and as fun as possible. I work with the guys at Goga and at Get Out, Get Active and at Nottingham City Council quite a lot on this, but it's a running project, but it's something I really want to get going. And to sort of coincide with that, what I've tried to do is start the YouTube channel. I'm not trained in this at all. I'm really, really sort of nervous about what I'm doing still, even though I've done quite a few now. But I'm just trying to use that to try and be relatable and honest. You know, I only started doing the things I do a couple of years ago. I lost a lot of weight and I come from a difficult situation, you know, and it was just choices I made to take this on and move forward. And it's given me so many benefits. So my aim through running is just to sort of encourage people to get all the benefits I have. I want people to sort of see what's available and set new things up and do different sort of projects where people can get involved. Of course, there's running clubs out there for everybody, you know, but some people would have to go and find them themselves. And what I'm trying to do is get out there into the community and get the ideas into people so they can join us and feel no obligation, take part as much or as little as they want, you know, and just sort of be involved in a community. I started out as just a running group, but now I've kind of sort of spreading out into an activity group, despite the name. It's becoming more of an activity group, and like I say, with the YouTube thing, that's just a way of sort of trying to explain the message by, like I say, being sort of honest and relatable and sort of understanding that people have got different kind of issues that they encounter.
Absolutely, yeah, it's great.
So one of the main reasons I sort of got in touch with you was last week I heard you talking to your colleague about running, and obviously my ears always prick up when And I hear that. So I believe you've taken up running during lockdown.
Yeah. I mean, I've always found running a bit too hard work, if I'm honest. I've always been a keen cyclist. I've done a lot of, 100-milers, London to Paris. I was due to do another one this year. And I don't really know what it was about running, but during lockdown, I was determined not to just kind of sit around and do nothing. I'm particularly kind of, COVID early on really worried me as well, because I've got slight asthma. It's not a big thing at all. It's really well controlled, but my dad has got COPD, and I don't know. I think especially early on with coronavirus, I got a little bit worried about catching it for one, but also getting as fit as I could, so I was in the best shape that I could be to stand the best chance of not catching the virus. So I can't remember what the point was where I thought I'm going to start running, but I did, and I just started with really short runs. I live in a village, and I did a lap of the village, and it's just kind of expanded out, and it's become quite addictive now. I haven't taken to it easily. It's taken a long time for me to feel kind of comfortable with it, but I feel great for it. I feel really, really good. I've lost weight through it. I wasn't aiming to, but it's all kind of happened organically, and it's been good.
Okay, yeah. What you said there about the COVID, I was in a similar situation myself. I had a gallbladder operation in December. So when they were sort of saying that vulnerable people, I was looking for clarification on vulnerable and thinking, what does that mean? And again, I've also got a groin injury, so I was struggling a little bit. So like yourself, I was really keen to get out there, and I've taken to walking a lot. I still run. I'm actually just about getting back fit again, but I took to the walking for exactly the reason what you said there. Just to sort of give myself the best chance should the worst thing. Whilst I wasn't sort of absolutely petrified of the situation, I was just trying to give myself the best chance and looking for a bit of clarification. So it's really interesting that you say that. But of course, I got addicted to the running, and I know how addictive it can be. So hearing you talk and hearing you sort of mention what you're doing, and we all get a bit guilty of telling our colleagues and telling. I'm sure I'm the ultimate running bore, but there you go. But again, it's with that intention of trying to sort of motivate and inspire people just to take that on board. So I just found that sort of really interesting to hear why you was doing that. I noticed you run quite a lot around that lake, as we call it in the running group.
That lake, Home Pierpont, yeah.
That's a really tough start. That.
Well, I mean, I came to that relatively late, so I must have started. I was running around the village. That would have been. I did a little bit kind of January, but obviously the weather wasn't great. I started it properly in March, and I think it probably would have been maybe May, because at the back of my mind, I didn't really have a distance in mind, but at the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, a lot of people do this couch to 5K. So I wonder if I could do 5K. And I wasn't measuring anything, any run that I was doing. I knew around the village, I knew roughly how long that would take. And then I started running to the next village, and I completely underestimated or overestimated how far that was. So I thought I was running further than I really was. So that was a bit of a disappointment. So then I thought, well, if I can stretch it to 5K, just to show myself I can do it. And so I went along to that lake, and I put it in Strava, ran around. In fact, I remember the first time it was, And I looked at Strava afterwards, and I looked at the distance, and I thought it was 5K. And the feeling afterwards was amazing, because you do then think to yourself, well, I've done it. But rather than thinking, well, I've done it and don't need to do that again, it's now become a bit of a thing and a bit of a habit. So every week I try and do a 5K run every week. And then the other days, I try and go at least 4 times a week running. And so I've got into a bit of a routine now. I go late afternoon, early evening before tea. And then one afternoon on the way home from work, I go to that lake and I do a lap, and I get in the car and go home. So that's become my kind of regime now, from someone that didn't really like running. I used to just find it boring, I think. But I think you have to get through that first 30 seconds, minute, and then keep going and keep going. And no, it's been a revelation for me.
No, I've mentioned the lake because, like I say, in the running in our group, we all refer to it as that. And some of the guys who can run marathons, ultra marathons, the sound of that lake is enough to put them off running for the day. So it's just really interesting that somebody starting out actually uses that, because it's always windy, isn't it? It's always windy.
Always. Yeah, you pull into the car park and you think, oh, this is quite a calm day. And then when you get down the bottom end, you turn the corner and you think, oh, here we go. And it's in your face for the entire kind of second leg. Or when you think you're running into the wind going down into that bottom bit, and you think, oh, it's all right, it'll be behind me going back. But there's something about the lake that the wind is just always in your face. I mean, it's just a home Pierpont phenomenon. So you never have it behind you, pushing you along. But no, the main thing with it, to be honest, is it's flat. At least it's flat. They just need to sort the wind out. I think they need to put some big old hedges up.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned there, and it was how I sort of I became aware that you was doing the football to Amsterdam bike ride, because there's a couple of guys again in the community that do that. And of course, through the community interest company, we sponsored you as well early on, which looking forward to getting behind you with that. So what you mentioned you're into your cycling and you've done lots of cycling. What's your sort of history with that, and what's the plan with the race going forward?
Well, and thank you for sponsoring. That was really, really kind, because you were there straight away. So the football to Amsterdam ride, I started talking to the guys behind that last year, maybe the year before, and I couldn't ride last year. It just clashed with something else, and so I promised that I would do it this year, and it was meant to be happening in June. Obviously it didn't. Then it was pushed back to September, but we kind of knew it wouldn't really happen, so it's been pushed back to 2021. So it's a football to Amsterdam ride. It's for Prostate Cancer UK, and most people ride from either Sheffield or London, and then you ride to Amsterdam. I mean, obviously not over the sea. That would be really clever. So there are a few of us doing the extra leg from City Ground up to Sheffield, and then you get the ferry, and then you ride in Holland as well. And it's just a bunch of guys I've got to know, mainly through Forest and through social media. So I am looking forward to that. But it's just meant that, I mean, initially with the running, I was kind of trying to get into shape for that. And I guess that was part of the motivation for running as well. But even though I'm not doing the ride, I would still want to keep in shape, and I don't want to just sit around. I'm not good at sitting around still anyway. And in terms of other rides, I've done London to Paris. I think I've done 3, maybe 4 times. I've done Great Knots a few times, doing the 100 miler. and ride London, where they closed the streets in London. That's been 3 times I've done that. So I suppose each year I've had a big ride, so I have something to aim for, and I find that if I've got that one thing, it does help in terms of motivation, and gives you a focus. And I suppose even without something this year, so far I've managed to just keep going with the running and bike rides as well. But the running has probably been the biggest surprise, because I never thought I would get into it.
So, like, one of the big things I try to put across is the benefits. You know, I say there's 1,000,001 benefits. What benefit is it for you that it really gives you? What do you take from all the activities? You know, you do the riding, you do the running. You said you're not very good at sitting still. I suppose what I try to do through DOdaily is sort of touch on mental health. Not go too deep, not get too deep into it, but just sort of touch on it and tell people that it can help with motivation. You know, just you might want to get up early. You know, it might get you out of bed. What is it that sort of why it really works for you?
I think there are a few things. I think that having something to aim for, be it an event or a goal or something, I tend to work well with that. The weight loss has been good. I know I'm fitter. I know my lung capacity is better than it was. But on the mental health side of things, that's really, that is true. And I know lots of people talk about it. I find that it clears your head. So going for a run or going for a ride or going for a walk just clears your head, fresh air. It also does make you, you feel a bit sharper mentally. I think if you've just been sitting in, not doing so much, I know if I have more than 3 days of not doing either a run or a ride or something, then I just feel a bit kind of slouchy, a bit kind of slower, and that's mentally. And so, yeah, it just sharpens you up, I think, and makes you feel a bit fresher. And of course, then the satisfaction, I think that's an important thing as well. So if you have a goal, if it's 5K or whatever it happens to be, and if you do it, you've got that sense of satisfaction then of thinking, yeah, I did that and I can do that. And if I want, I can do it again. Doesn't mean you have to.
And perhaps you can even do more. You know, you can
if you want,
evaluate your goals and move on from there.
Yeah.
I've noticed on the radio they talk a lot about lockdown heroes, and the word just made me think of something to do through the DOdaily YouTube channel. On a Thursday, I do a questions and answer sessions where people sort of send me questions and I try to answer them as best I can. And I always leave it with a question for them to sort of make comments and come back. And this week I'll be putting out there who's been your lockdown hero, you know, and it kind of, by hearing the word on the radio, it made me think of it. But me personally, when I start thinking of mine, and without trying to flatten you too much, like yourself and a local DJ have been my dance music DJ. Because when the lockdown first came in, I was really, really bored, if anything. I couldn't run. I couldn't. That was my go-to sort of thing. And then the news sort of issue came in about listening to too much news and getting bombarded with lots of different things. But what I found was through Radio Nottingham and yourself in particular, I could trust what was kind of being said. And then at the weekends, I'd listen to you, although you're not on the weekend anymore. Me and Kay really enjoyed that on a Saturday morning. And then I'd listen to another guy on a Saturday night who's a local DJ. So my question is to you, who's been your kind of lockdown heroes?
Oh, blimey. Blimey, there are actually quite a few. I mean, that's really kind of you. Thank you for that. And the whole kind of radio thing's been quite a stretch since March. So we changed the schedule, and we changed our days. And yeah, you're right. Early on, well, for a few months, I think we were doing 4 days on, 4 off. So it was including weekends. I actually really enjoyed doing weekends again. But finding the tone has been really difficult, because we had to tell people what was going on, but we didn't want to scare people. And I think over time we've kind of found our way, hopefully a bit better. But my heroes, oh, blimey, I was dreading you asking me questions, because normally I do that. I don't know. I mean, my family have been really, really so important over lockdown. I mean, immediate family for one. So in our house, there's me and my wife. My daughter's back from uni at the minute, and she's a student nurse, and she's been working in a care home as well, doing night shifts and stuff, just for experience. And what she's done is quite amazing. My son kind of moved out during lockdown with his girlfriend, and he's now training to be a teacher. So what they're doing is great. I think the wider family, because both my wife and I have got family up north, and that's been really difficult, because initially we couldn't see them. We have been to see them fairly recently, but it's all, you know, social distancing. It's just weird. I mean, you go and see your parents and you can't give them a hug. So yeah, I know it might be a bit kind of cheesy and whatever. I don't really care, but I would say my family. Yeah, family would be my heroes. And then there have been loads of people on the radio, you know, ordinary Nottinghamshire folk that are doing amazing stuff. I mean, I could reel a load off, but you know, I think it's probably brought out the best out of people. And that's what you know, there's been a lot of awful stuff, obviously, but the other side to it is it's brought out the best in a lot of people. And I think that's what we need to hang on to.
Yeah, it's interesting you say family, because the question I put out last week was take one positive from the situation, because everybody's telling us the negatives, and obviously we're trying to work off the positives through what we're doing. And a lot of people's answer was, it's probably not surprising really, but was the children have really stood up. You know, they've shown how mature they are. They've asked questions. They've got into family discussions, got involved in family games, and a lot more so people with teenagers as well, who can be sort of notoriously difficult. And it was really nice to hear that. So it just kind of sort of tied in well there with what you say. And apologies for the questions. I actually feel like a real imposter today, and
no, it's fine.
Used to this. I spoke to Mark Crossley a couple of weeks ago. It was the first one I did. I've only done, this is the third one. And I'm actually more nervous today asking you the questions. I just let him tell me Brian Clough stories, and that was fantastic.
See, Mark's Brian Clough impression can't be beaten, so I'm not even going to try. But he is doing some great stuff as well. So, you know, I was going to say hats off. That's like, you know, that's very apt, isn't it? Because of the hats he's got for walking is brilliant. But yeah, no, it's an absolute pleasure.
Just touching on the Forest thing there, you of course work at Forest as well. You've got two of the best jobs in the world.
Yeah.
That must be nice, a nice thing to sort of go to that and, you know, enjoy. I'm a massive Forest fan as well, so hearing you there and hearing you on the radio, it's that familiar voice again, and it kind of ties in nicely with that Nottingham thing. And whilst I'm trying to sort of expand this as much as I can, right now we focus in Nottingham and in sort of the surrounding areas, and trying to get deep into that. But like I say, it's great that everybody kind of pulls together, whether it's yourself or Mark Crossley, or, you know, and we all realise how important it's become, you know, local radio or an ex-Forest player or I spoke to a lady from Parkrun as well, a local Parkrun who works at the head office, and all these things really sort of mean a lot to people looking in who are thinking about taking part, or those who are already taking part and have lost some motivation. You know, I've done a couple of these, and a couple of the guys have said, "Oh, I really enjoy that," and it's got them walking again, or for Mark Crossley, or doing the 5K, that kind of thing. So I'm really, really grateful. I just ask you one more sort of quick question. It's a personal question, really. Obviously, I'm doing this kind of thing. Have you got any sort of quick fire tips just to sort of help me along? Like I say, I feel like a bit like an imposter, and I know I got my words wrong sometimes. And I'm confused, but
don't. Well, what I would say is don't worry, because I think you're doing great, and what you're doing is a really, really great tool for people. And as you say, the important thing is sharing stories, isn't it? And if I've helped one person, great. I know you've helped, an awful lot more. Mark the same with what he's doing. And I think in terms of tips, it's just, be yourself. And, the more you kind of relax into it, it becomes a conversation, as we're having now. And that's what we try and do on the radio as well. It's very much a conversation where you bring people in, and they do, they sometimes send you the most random stuff, but the fact that they pick up on the smallest little, it's often the smallest throwaway comment that they pick up on. So, be yourself, relax, and occasionally, and you've already done it, kind of surprise people. So ask them a question that perhaps is going to be a bit different to what other people may have asked, and it makes you kind of stand out a little bit. And you did that, so great.
Well, thanks for that. Sorry, just one quick question on the back of that. I get really nervous asking people for things. It's just my nature, and I'm getting it. I always talk about getting out of my comfort zone. So, like with yourself, I just sent you a message and you answered. And a lot of people, Mark Crossley did that straight away, straight back, and the people I've asked so far have been really good. But is there any sort of way you'd approach that, or is it just literally send them a message, social media, or anything like that?
I would just, especially as you say with social media now, I would just do it. Don't worry about it too much. I know, as you say, you do it because you're a nice guy and you don't want to impose. But look, if you don't, it's the old saying, isn't it? If you don't ask, you don't get. And if they don't want to do it, then that's up to them. But I think if you don't want to do it, you should at least reply and say, look, sorry, not now, for whatever reason. That's fine. I think you'll find a lot of people do, because at the end of the day, there's something in it for them. To put it bluntly, it helps get their word out about something, and also I think it's interesting. I find it interesting talking to people every day on the radio, and this has been no different. So, no, just go for it.
Well, like I say, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that.
No worries.
I'll post up your link to your page as well onto the community, and I'm sure you'll get a few takers on that. So, keep up with the winning. I'll be all over it.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mark. I really appreciate it.
No worries. My pleasure.
Thank you.
I hope that was all right.
Oh, that was superb. It's just. I know I'm a lot more articulate on the inside than is coming out, but.
Yeah, you're doing fine.
It's practice.
Doing fine, makes complete sense. It's good.
It's just a way to it's just a case of keep going, I guess.
Yeah, fine. You're doing great, and it was enjoyable to do, actually.
That's great, and it will make a difference. Like I say, it really will. And I always if I can change it for one person to get what I feel I've got, some of the material things I probably used to look at have gone completely out the window. And I need sort of personal development as well. you know, because this doesn't sort of pay me a living or get me very far in terms of that. But it's more important to do something I enjoy.
Yeah. No, good for you. Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Good. Go and have a lie down or something.
I'll keep listening and keep listening.
I will. Yeah. All right. I'm not sure. Is it stopped raining yet? Because normally I would go kind of in an hour or so, but I'm a fair weather runner. No, I was just going to go. I was going to go home first. I might go and do something else and then go home. I'll see. But I should. It's very rare because, you know, it was really hot the other week. And my wife said, because I started putting my trainers on, she's like, it's 30 odd degrees out there. You're not going for a run. I'm like, of course I am. I wait till, you know, it was gone 5 and it was still 30 odd degrees. And she's like, you're mad. I was like, I'm not going. I did run slightly like less distance, but it's in your brain, isn't it? So you've got to do something and you just, you know, adapt. And I did that. As I set off, I thought, yeah, she's right. It is bloody hot, but it was fine. It's all right.
No, I'm on a weight loss mission at the moment because since my ARPA, my body's been a bit all over the place.
Yeah.
Weight and drinking too much at the start of lockdown. I put on too much weight, so I've got a new regime of getting up at 5:45 and going for a run. And it's so humid in the morning. It's
yeah.
I look at the app and it's saying it's like 95, 97. One day it was 100% humidity, and I come back like a drowned rat.
Yeah, but think of the good it's doing you as well, because the more warm it is and humid, as long obviously you got to put the fluids back, but I think it's doing you good.
Great stuff. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, mate.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Take care and speak soon. And thanks again for your support. Much appreciated.
No worries. I'll keep listening.
All right, mate. Take care.
Hope you enjoyed that, guys. I certainly did. Really, really good stuff. As you heard, Mark's really, really enthusiastic. And in turn, that's really inspiring in getting people to get out there and be active. Of course, the main aim of myself and DOdaily. And with the support of guys like Mark, I'm sure we can continue in delivering that message and getting people out there and reaping all those benefits that we know we take from it. Talking to Mark was a real privilege. He had some nice words to say in return, and I'm really grateful for that. So whilst I always talk about being out of my comfort zone, hearing those nice words again gives me confidence, inspires me to keep delivering the message I can, to keep improving, to keep getting out there, getting active and setting the example. I'm already working on the next guest. Hopefully I can bring you that in due course. So like I say, guys, take from that what you can. Do check Mark out, look him up on social media, on Twitter, and I'll post that Just Giving page if anybody can make a contribution to the cause. Mark would be extremely grateful. I would too. Done a lot of work myself for prostate cancer, so it really is a great cause. Check it out. I'll post a link at the end of the video. For now, enjoy the rest of the weekend. It looks like it might just be picking up, so that typical weather might be a thing of the past. Thanks, guys. Take care. See you soon. Just doing it.